Greetings. My name is Cady, and I invite you to pause with me for prayer with PlayWell Communities. PlayWell is a faith network that I began this year, made up of small groups and individuals of those who are simply trying to learn how to live by the unforced rhythms of grace. And we have prayers that we return to each day, in the morning, in the middle of the day, in the evening, and at bedtime. And we try to stop and pray at those various times when we can. And so today, I would like to invite you to join me in our midday prayers. That includes just some time for you to reflect and be silent and still, to connect your heart with God's. And in today's midday prayer, I will offer a reflection that I wrote last night after I took a walk in my neighborhood. Well, with that, let's get ready. I light this candle to remind us, that Christ, the light of the world, is with us. And so we always have just enough light to live by. As we begin our midday prayers, hear the words of Jesus from Matthew chapter 11, as translated by Eugene Peterson in the Message. Jesus says, "Come to me. Get away with me and you'll recover your life. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace." In the middle of the day, we return to you, Jesus, our center. In you, we live and move and have our being. Like parched souls searching for a spring, we thirst for you and your ways. With joy, we draw water from the wells of your salvation. And just take a few moments now in silence to just rest, just breathe and be present. I invite you to join me in a confession about the life of the beloved. I'll say one line at a time, and then I'll leave a pause for you to make this confession your own. Either speak it aloud in the silence that I leave, in the pause, or just savor the words in your heart. Let them echo in your soul. The life of the beloved, a confession. I believe that I am God's beloved child. I am learning to let God's love fill my heart, to let it shape my life. So I may be just who God has made me to be, nothing more and nothing less. That I may abide in love and share God's love with all that I am. Amen. Last night I took a walk through my neighborhood in the early part of the evening. And I would like to share with you some of the things that I saw during that time, which was the first night of Hanukkah. And these are some reflections that I wrote upon my return to home. The sun set before I was able to take the dog on his final walk today. During this time of year, I especially love strolling in my neighborhood when the night is still young. There are all kinds of pretty lights to see. So tonight I decided to take a little more time than usual on my evening walk with Lucas, my dog. I stopped along the way to savor the warm colors shining from cozy living rooms. And I smiled as I enjoyed the various Christmas decorations. There are several houses on the next block that are homes to my Jewish neighbors. And it is the first night of Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. As I walked by these houses, my heart was filled with joy, knowing that with each night, the light will grow brighter in each household, even as the darkness outside grows longer. As I neared the alley toward the north end of the street, I glimpsed a large man with a thick black beard, swaying back and forth near the menorah in the window of his home. He was wearing the classic attire of the men and boys who teach and study at the yeshiva just around the corner. A plain black suit, a white dress shirt, and a large black hat. As I neared his home, he began dancing about the room, letting himself get carried away with the celebration. Soon, 4 little boys joined him, and they all formed a circle. As they held hands, they moved counterclockwise while bouncing up and down like figures on a merry-go-round. The father was smiling and the children were laughing. And I just stood there for a good long time, taking in the sight, letting the joy and hope of it all speak to me. And that is when the tears came. Tears of hope for all the war-torn streets of the world, where the darkness of violence has left little room for the little lights of countless little lives. And as I stood there, the tears became a prayer that all the people of the world would one day have a place to dance a circle in freedom and peace. That young and old would come together and enemies would become friends. That we would finally come to see that we are all a part of God's big circle of growing light at last. Amen and amen. During our midday prayers, we're mindful in PlayWell Communities that many are at work during this time of the day. They've had, a portion of work and they're looking forward to more work. Or maybe not looking forward to it, but there's more work in store for them for the day. So we like to include a prayer for work in our midday prayers. We commit to you the work that is done and the work that is yet undone. May your beauty rest upon us, Lady Wisdom. We trust you will complete the incomplete. We believe you will finish what you started. May we meet you on the road with us, Brother Jesus. As we labor, be our resting place. Please make our work restful and our rest fruitful. May we remain present to your presence, Great Spirit. And we close with a blessing. It comes all the way from the 16th century. It was originally offered by Teresa de Avila. Receive this blessing. Let nothing disturb you, nothing affright you. All things are passing. God never changes. Patient endurance attains to all things. Whom God possesses, in nothing is wanting. Alone, God suffices. Thank you for joining me for midday prayer with PlayWell Communities. I hope you have a good rest of the day and a good weekend. Be loved, my friends, because you are beloved.